Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for your kind association. We'll continue with our Bhakti Vaibhav study. Let's offer prayers, Mangalacharan prayers, and then we'll go on. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtiprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tat Bhaktaya Namo Namo. आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हिमावदिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रस प्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वर. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you once again for your very, very kind association. So we are in the section of Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter number 6, and we'll continue with verse 26. So this chapter entitled is the conversation, the further conversation between Narada Muni and Srila Vyasadeva. So in the previous conversation, Narad Muni has explained everything to Vyasadeva, that how he has to exclusively glorify Lord Shri Krishna and he has to write Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva in this chapter inquires further about Narad Muni's life because when he took initiation and accepted Shri Narad Muni as his spiritual master, he wanted to know that how Narad Muni passed his life after getting initiated from all the Bhakti Vedantas, and how he attained this body of Narad Muni and how he still remembered his past life. So Narada Muni speaks about his mother's departure, that how he was the only son for his mother, and his mother was the only source for his protection. So there was a sneha bandhan. There was a tie of affection between son and mother. And mother used to maintain the child, but she was not able to maintain him properly, although she wanted to. But finally, one day, what happened is that she was bitten by a snake when at the night she went to milk a cow. Narad Muni took this as a special mercy of the Lord, though he was just a 5-year-old boy, but because he got the pure association of the pure devotees of the Lord, the Bhakti Vedantas. So Narad Muni took this reversal, the huge reversal in his life, also as the mercy, special mercy of the Supreme Lord. And Narad Muni then started traveling north. And while he was traveling, he crossed a lot of mountains, villages, caves, waterfalls, rivers. And he got tired physically as well as mentally. And finally, he took bath in the river. He drank some water and started meditating while sitting under a banyan tree. When he was meditating, Krishna appeared. So Krishna appeared in the vision of Sri Narad Muni, not as face to face, but in his heart. Narad Muni saw the form of Paramatma in his heart, sitting in the lotus of his heart. So in the previous chapter, we saw that how Narad Muni, when he was describing the progressive levels of bhakti, that how he started with Satam Kripa Mahat Seva, and then he developed Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and finally he achieved Prema. So he described till the level of Prema, but now Narad Muni will be describing the last 2 stages of Prema Bhakti. And that 2 stages, not of Prema Bhakti actually, but as the last 2 stages of Bhakti that one attains after Prema. So then Narad Muni said that while he was meditating, he saw the Supreme Lord. He saw the form of the Supreme Lord. That also confirmed to him that the Lord is not formless. He got all the Ashtasattvika vikars. He was totally enlivened. And in that, he was not able to see for a very long time the form of the Supreme Lord. And that is the 13th stage, that is Darshanam. As soon as Narad Muni, because he fainted, he cannot behold that form for a long time. He fainted, and then upon losing the form of the Lord, he started lamenting. He was very much dissatisfied, and then he started trying to attempt to see the Supreme, to see the form of the Supreme Lord again. Our acharyas describe that seeing the form of the Supreme Lord is not in our hand, but it's only by the mercy of the Lord that the Lord appears in front of his devotees. So Narad Muni was very satisfied because seeing the Lord is not a kind of a mechanical process. It is only upon the Lord's causeless mercy that the Lord appears in front of his devotees, or even he appears in the heart of that devotee. So Narad Muni was very much despondent, very much dissatisfied because he wants to see that form again. But finally, seeing his eagerness and seeing his sincerity in seeing the form again and getting so much perturbed by not seeing the form, the Lord started instructing Narad Muni and started consoling Narad Muni. And he said that, "O Narad Muni, you will never see my form again in this life." But because the Narad Muni might have asked question that, you showed me that form. So why is it not possible that you cannot show me again? Because once if Krishna has bestowed his causeless mercy, he can bestow it again. So then the Lord instructed and told Narad Muni that actually I disappeared from your vision just to increase your hankering. I showed myself once to you, and now I have disappeared from your vision so that you can hanker for me. The more you hanker for me, the more you will be purified. Now, this shows that how Krishna is very possessive. We know that how in the pastimes of Rasa Leela also, Krishna disappeared from the vision of gopis. But then gopis, the beautiful Gopi Geet that they sang, that comes in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, chapter 33. So Krishna disappeared and the gopis were lamenting. And then when Krishna appeared, Sakshat Manmatha, Ashra Sukdev Goswami describes. He appears in front of the gopis and the gopis ask, why did you disappear from our vision? And the same reason Krishna gave is, I want you to hanker more and more for me. So this is Krishna. He gives you his own separation so that the devotee longs for that separation. Because our Gaudiya Vaishnavas established this Siddhanta of Vipralamba Seva. Sambhoga is important, but Vipralamba is more important. Because in Vipralamba, there is no discontinuity of remembrance of Krishna. Apparently looks like that the devotees are separated, but the more they hanker, more they long for it, the more Krishna is in their thoughts, in their chitta, in their consciousness. And that itself shows that how the devotee is more in union with Krishna. So in Vipralamba, the union is more. But in Sambhoga, union is there, but after some time there is separation. Like the gopis used to meet Krishna only at the night time. At the daytime, there is complete separation. For gopas, the union was in the morning time, but in the night time, it was complete separation. So the gopas used to pray to Chandradev that, can you please set soon so that morning sun comes and we get to meet Krishna. Whereas the gopis will go to Surya Kund and will pray to Surya Dev, can you please set soon today so that the night falls and we can meet Krishna. So that is the hankering that the devotees possess for Krishna. And Krishna himself is very possessive. He wants only him to be in the center of his devotee's life. Finally, he consoled Narad Muni, and then the Lord himself glorified devotional service. That, O Narada, you continue this service, because by this service you will become firmly fixed. And after giving up this world, and of course the low birth that you got of being a son of a maidservant, you will become my associate. So this was the assurance that was given by Krishna to Narad Muni, that you will become my associate. Finally, the Supreme Lord disappeared. Even his words disappeared. He stopped speaking. And Narad Muni, in great gratitude, grateful in his heart, he bowed down to that Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's what our Acharya says, that at every point in our life, no matter reversals comes, no matter happiness comes, we should be grateful. Because a grateful heart is the recipient of Krishna's mercy. If we are not grateful to Krishna, and if we start blaming to Krishna, we lose all our credits, all our Sukriti is lost. So there we ended, and we'll continue with verse number 26. I'll share my screen. It's a very beautiful verse. I don't know whether it's a memorizing verse or not. I don't think so. But it's okay, you can memorize. Not this. Yeah, this is also, but there is another verse also which you can memorize. Okay. Namananantasya hatatripa pathan Guyani bhadrani kritani chasmaran Gamparyatam stushtamana gata spriha Kalam pratikshan vimado vimatsara. It's not a memorizing verse, but a very important verse. Lot of lessons for us to learn. So Narad Muni, when he bowed down to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, the question comes is, what happened next? Because Narad Muni got everything. He got the assurance from the Lord that he'll become his associate. And also Lord assured that now it's just for you, it's just the passing of time. Do devotional service and you will become my associate. If such kind of assurance is given to us, we'll become reluctant in our devotional service. At least I'll talk about myself. But that was not the case with Narad Muni. He didn't stop. Rather, he took it as the beginning for him to perfect his life. And the same applies to us, especially when we take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master. Then devotees, after taking first initiation and then second initiation, the devotees think, that's it, job done. I got both the initiations, I have accomplished. But we don't understand that actually that's the beginning. That's why initiation, word itself means beginning. It starts. From there, the journey starts. It's the first step to step on the path of Bhakti Yoga. So Narad Muni didn't stop. Namani Anantasya. He started glorifying Lord Ananta and of course his unlimited glories by calling out his name, his fame, glorifying the Supreme Lord. But how was he doing? Hatatripta Patan. He was reciting. Patan means reciting or repeating. But Hatatrapa. Hatatrapa means, Hata means to bereft of. And Trapa word comes, which it means shame. Means he was bereft of all shame. Shame in the positive connotation. That day in and day out, he was just glorifying the Supreme Lord. Hatatrap, so Prabhupada translate as being freed from all the formalities of the material world. Patan, he was reciting the Supreme Lord's name. Guhyani bhadrani kritani chasmaran, and he was also glorifying the activities, the mysterious activities of the Supreme Lord, which is bhadrani, which are very, very, very auspicious. Gampariyatams, and by singing and by glorifying, he was moving around. Gampariyatams, he was traveling. Tushtamana, with fully satisfied. Gataspreha, freed from all kind of material desires. He was very satisfied. Tushtamana, fully satisfied. Because he got that assurance that he will be the associate of the Supreme Lord in the next life. But at the same time, with that satisfaction, he didn't lose his humility. So Prabhupada says that he was still very humble. Gata spriha, completely free from all kind of desires. Spriha means desires. All kind of material desires, he was free. So tushtamana gata spriha. He was fully satisfied, but at the same time very humble, and he was gata spriha. He was completely free from material desires. Kalam pratikshan, and he was waiting for Kal, time of death. He was waiting for Kal to come. Awaiting time. But another two qualities are given. Vimado and Vimatsara. Vimado means without being proud. That, oh, I have seen the Supreme Lord. I have become a great devotee. Like we give few classes, sings few kirtan, and think ourselves to be the great senior devotees. Devotees should respect us. We have passed so many years, decades in Krishna consciousness in this ISKCON. I deserve that name. I deserve that fame. But Narad Muni, he was Vimada. He was not proud. Though he saw the Supreme Lord, he crossed the two stages beyond prema, darshanam and harer madhurya anubhava. Because when he got all that ashtasatvika vikar, and when the Lord spoke to him, then that madhurya bhav, the sweetness of the Lord, was experienced by Narad Muni. So still Vimado, he was not proud. And Vimatsara. Matsara means enviousness, and Vimatsara means without being envious. That is the greatest quality to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma, dharmo projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Those devotees who are nirmatsara, only to them the Supreme Lord reveals himself, and only to them the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam reveals to them. And only then to them Dham reveals. So there is no difference between the Lord, his holy names, his Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course his Dham. But all they will reveal only to those devotees who are Vimatsara, who are without envious. Because this quality of enviousness, not quality I should say, it's the vice of enviousness, is such a vice that if somebody has, then it's very difficult to survive in this material world. Forget about attaining the spiritual world. Therefore, right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Mangalacharan verse itself, it says that if you are on this path of Bhakti Yoga, you have to become Vimatsara, Nirmatsaranam Sata. So that was the qualities of Narad Muni, that he was Tushtamana, he was Gataspriha. Tushtamana means he was very, very satisfied. Gataspriha means he was free from all material desires. Vimado means he was very humble without being proud. And Vimatsara was without being envious. And with having all these qualities, what he was doing, Namani Anantasya, he was singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. And he was traveling. Why traveling? Because now he wants to preach. He was still not Narad Muni. He was the same personality. He was a small boy, but now the grown-up boy. But he was simply moving, traveling to uplift others, to give this knowledge, this process to others. And kalam pratiksha, he was simply waiting for the time of death to come. Somebody can read the translation.
Thus,
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Ishwar Prabhu.
Thus I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation, ignoring all the formalities of the material world. Such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are benedictory. So doing I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied, humble, and unenvious. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So Vimada and Vimatsara. He was very humble. Prabhupada writes the word humble. Fully satisfied and humble without being proud. Because Krishna told him, Smritischa mad anugrahat, that you will, by my mercy, you will always remember me. And even after the time of annihilation, you will remember me and you'll become my associate. So after getting such kind of assurance, still he was very humble. Prabhupada writes in the purport, the life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is thus explained in a nutshell by Narad Muni by his personal example. So this is what is known as experiential learning. Sometimes we try to explain some concept to others, but those concepts are like, what do you say? Those concepts are like theoretical concept. But to give a great impact on the heart of others, we try to share our own experience, or we try to share experience from Shastras of great devotees, or we try to share experience of others. But through these experiences, it leaves a great impact, and for others also it's easy to grasp. So all these 14 progressive stages of bhakti, which Narad Muni first theoretically explained, but then through his own personal example, he tried to explain that I have experienced all those from Satam Kripa to Hare Madhuri Anubhava. And that is what is a real teacher is. Through his own personal example, they teach to others. Prabhupada writes, such a devotee after his initiation by the Lord or for his bona fide representative takes very seriously chanting of the glories of the Lord. Namani Anantasya doesn't stop there, but keep on singing and chanting the glories of the Lord, and Gam Paryatams, traveling all over the world, so that the others may also hear the glories of the Lord. Such devotees have no desire for material gain. They are conducted by one single desire, that is to go back to Godhead. This awaits them in due course on quitting the material body, because they have the highest aim of life, going back home, back to Godhead. They are never envious of anyone, Vimatsara, nor they are proud of being eligible to go back to Godhead. Narad Muni was assured, but still he was not proud. Vimada. Their only business is to chant and remember the holy name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord, and according to personal capacity, to distribute the message for others' welfare without motive of material gain. And that is what is the highest welfare activity that Prabhupada describes. Another thing important in this verse is Khalam Pratikshan, that how Narad Muni was waiting for the time, because Krishna, when he appeared in the heart of Sri Narad Muni as Paramatma, he assured him that after this life, you will become my associate. So he was waiting for the time to come, that when that day will come, when I will become the associate of the Supreme Lord. I had no pride, no selfishness, since I always thought that I'm so fallen. But even after that, Krishna has given me this assurance. So once we get that assurance, we start awaiting for death. We start awaiting, because for devotees, death is an opportunity to engage oneself in the service of the Supreme Lord. Death for an ordinary materialistic person may not be so glorious, but for the death for a devotee is always glorious, because that gives them the opportunity to serve their spiritual master or to serve Lord Shri Krishna. So Narad Muni was also waiting, Kalam Pratikshan, expecting the right time to come. And expecting that when that day will be mine, when I will become the associate of the Supreme Lord. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also very beautifully sings, Kabe habe bolo se dina mar. When that day will come, when that day will be mine. Aparada guchi shuddha nama ruchi kripa bole hoy be hridayo sanchar. When will that blessings will come, when I will chant the Shuddha Nam, that Nam which is free from all offenses. And I will chant Krishna's holy name. Kabe habe bolo se dina mar. When that day will come. So that is the mood of a devotee. The devotee waits for that time. Text 27. Evam Krishna mater Brahman nasaktasyat amalatmanaha kala pradurbhut kale tadit saudamani yatha. So our Saudamani Sundari Mataji's name, Saudamani, is also mentioned here in this verse. So what Narad Muni says is, Evam Krishna Mater Brahman. So I was, my mati, my mind, my intelligence was fully absorbed in Krishna. So thus being fully absorbed in Krishna, thinking of Krishna, Brahman means Brahmana, O Srila Vyasadeva. So he's addressing to Vyasadeva. That my mind was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Na asakti. I don't have any asakti. Asakti to what? Asakti towards material things. One who is attached. The same asakti is on a very high level when it is for Krishna. It comes after Nishtha, Ruchi, then Asakti. Then comes Bhava. But Asakti for material desire becomes an impediment on our path of Bhakti Yoga. So, na Asakti. So, he's saying, I was not having any Asakti. And that means he is referring to the material Asakti, the material attachment. And Amala Atmanaha, and my Atma, my soul, I was completely Amala. Amala means free from all kind of contamination. Amala Atmanaha, I was free from all kind of material contamination. Kala Pradurbhut Kale. Pradurbhut means to appear. I was waiting for that time, Kal, to come. And what kind of time? Kalaha. That end time, the time of death. And that time came. Tadat Saudamani Yatha. And as soon as that appearance happened, Pradurbhut hua. Kiska? Mrityu ka pradurbhut hona means as soon as the death came to me, immediately, Tadat Saudamani Yatha. There was a flash of lightning and I got totally illuminated. So what Narad Muni is saying is that as soon as the death happens, I became an associate of Krishna. Krishna fulfilled his promise. I became the son of Brahma as Narada. So I was an eternal servant of Krishna. So evam Krishna mater Brahman nasaktasyat amalatmanaha kala pradurbhut kale tadit saudamani yatha. It happened in a flash of second. The example is given. So tadat itself means the lightning and saudamani means illumination. So that lightning means the death and my spiritual deha, getting the spiritual deha, that illumination, they occur simultaneously. So giving up my material body was lightning flashing simultaneously. It was flashing and lightning. That means I gave up my material body, my gross senses, my subtle senses, and immediately received my spiritual body. So it was a flash of a second for Narad Muni. So our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his Sarartha Darshani, he explains that this is what it happens. Just like when there is a thunderstorm, we see a lightning, but within a moment there is another flash of lightning, right? So similarly for Narad Muni also same thing happened. He gave up his material body and he immediately achieved the spiritual body as an associate of the Supreme Lord. Somebody can read the translation.
And so, O Brahmana Vyasadeva, in due course of time, I, I, who was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna, and who therefore had no attachment, being completely freed from all material things, met with lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So met with death as lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. Tadit Saudamani Yatha. To be fully absorbed, Prabhupada writes in his purport, to be fully absorbed in the thought of Krishna means clearance of all material dirts or hankering. That hankering for material things has to be given up. And the hankering for Krishna should be there. Prabhupada writes, as a very rich man has no hankering for small petty things. Bill Gates, it's been explained that even if some $1,000 he dropped, he'll not make an effort to pick those $1,000 because the time it takes for him to pick those dollars, in that time he can make much more dollars. So for a rich man, losing some petty things is not a big deal. They don't hanker for it. So also the devotee of Lord Krishna. Why? Because the devotees are guaranteed to pass on to the kingdom of God, where life is eternal, fully cognizant, and blissful. Naturally has no hankerings for petty material things, which are like dolls or shadows of the reality and are without permanent value. Anityam, everything is ashashvatam, everything is nityam. That is the sign of spirituality enriched persons. They don't hanker anything for something which is not eternal, something which is temporary. And in due course of time, when a pure devotee is completely prepared, all of a sudden the change of body occurs, which is commonly called death. So this death happens to everybody, to materialistic people also and to devotees also. But there is a huge difference. The materialistic people meet death with anxiety, with fear, because they don't know what lies next. There is an unknown factor, and that unknown factor brings fear in their heart. Whole life they will not be worried, but the moment they are on the deathbed, they are worried. But for devotees, it is no more fear, no more anxiety. It's only love. Because now they are going in the loving embrace of their beloved, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes. The loving embrace, the Lord's loving embrace. And in due course of time, when a pure devotee is completely prepared, all of a sudden the change of body occurs, which is commonly called death. And for the pure devotee, such a change takes place exactly like lightning and illumination follows simultaneously. So as soon as the lightning happens, everything becomes illuminated. Imagine, just envision, it's a pitch dark, it's raining, thundering, and immediately the lightning happens. what do you see? Everything becomes illuminated. Everything becomes crystal clear. But it's just only for a flick of a second. You'll not even notice. But by the time you notice or you try to see something, because everything becomes illuminated, it's gone. So same thing Narad Muni is saying, that lightning happened means my death happened, and immediately illumination happened means that I got illuminated. I got a spiritual deha. I became an associate of the Lord. That is to say, a devotee simultaneously changes his material body and develops a spiritual body, but it happens by the will of the Supreme. Even before death, a pure devotee has no material affection due to his body being spiritualized like a red hot iron in contact with fire. So when the iron is in contact with the fire, the iron takes up the qualities of a fire, and that iron becomes like a fire. Similarly, the devotee may be in this world, but they don't belong to this world. They are not of this world. So even before death, they have lost all the allurements of this world. Example again, Prabhupada gives is the dry coconut. We see the dry coconut, it is in the shell. That brown shell is also there. But when the coconut is dried, it leaves the shell. It is inside the shell only, but it leaves the shell. And when you shake that coconut, you can hear that sound, tuck, tuck, tuck. So it is inside the shell, but no more attached to this shell. Same thing is with the devotee. We may be in the pure devotees may be in this material world, but they are not of this material world. They don't belong to this material world. And they become spiritualized. Their body becomes spiritualized. Why? Because they are always in contact, in thought, in consciousness of Krishna. And that is what is Krishna consciousness. Text 28. Prayujyamane mahitam shuddham bhagavatim tanum arabdha karma nirvano nyapat pancha bhautika. And then Narad Muni says, Prayujyamane maitam, I was awarded. I was prayujyamane, means I was awarded. I was benedicted. I was awarded. With what? Shuddham Bhagavatim Tanum. Tanu means the body. I got the spiritual body. And that body was Shuddham. It was spiritualized. It was not contaminated with the three modes of material nature. It was Shuddham Bhagavatim Tanu. Shuddham, spiritualized body I got. At the same time, Bhagavatim means that I became an associate of the Supreme Lord, of Bhagavan. Arabdha karma. Arabdha karma means there was no karmic reactions left over. All my karmic reactions, nirvana, have become practically zero. Nyapatat pancha bhautika. Nyapatat means I gave up. I quit this body which is made of pancha bhautika, earth, air, water, fire, ether. I gave up this gross material body, the pancha bhautika body. And immediately I quit and I got a spiritual body of being an associate Bhagavatim, Shuddham Bhagavatim Stanu. That body I got. And Arabdha Karma Nirvana, all my Arabdha Karma means my Prarabdha, my Kutam, my Bijam, my Aprarabdha, everything was zero. But then, as soon as I got this body of, then I became, is what Narad Muni. So all my karma, everything got stopped, because once we get the spiritual body, then we are no more in the entanglement of laws of karma. The laws of karma doesn't apply on the spiritual deha. Somebody can read the translation.
Having been awarded a transcendental body befitting an associate of the personality of Godhead, I quit the body made of 5 material elements, and thus all acquired fruitive results of work karma stopped.
Everything got stopped. No more baggage of karma he was carrying. See, naturally karma will be there. Some pious, some impious karma is there. As soon as we are doing some activity, karmic reactions are there. But as Bhagavad Gita says, that what we have to do, akarmic activities. Akarmic activities means whatever activities we do, keep Krishna in the center. Do it for the desire to please Krishna. Then all our activities will become akarmic activities. And with that akarmic activities, there is no baggage. And this boy also did the same. Namani Anantasya. He was singing the glories of the Supreme Lord without any enviousness, without any hatred, without being proud, in great humility. In preaching, he was traveling. So what all did was akarmic. So definitely all his fruitive results of all his karma, it got stopped, it got zero down. Prabhupada writes in his purport, informed by the personality of Godhead that he would be awarded a transcendental body befitting the Lord's association, Narada got his spiritual body as soon as he quit his material body. So the Supreme Lord also kept his promise. This transcendental body is free from all material affinity and invested with 3 primary transcendental qualities. So the spiritual body had 3 transcendental qualities. That is eternity, Sat, freedom from all material modes, and finally, freedom from all reactions of fruitive activities. So that eternal body he got, which cannot be destroyed, no matter how many times annihilation creation happens. He got eternal body. He got freed from all material modes, because this material modes is only for the body which we get, the material body we have in this material world. And then because he got spiritualized, definitely all his fruitive activities were also zero. But that's not the case with an ordinary jiva. Prabhupada, next line he writes, the material body is always afflicted with lack of these 3 qualities. Why? Because the material body is ashashvatam. It is temporary. It is always under the modes of material nature. And we are always carrying some baggage of karma. A devotee's body becomes at once surcharged with the transcendental qualities as soon as he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. It acts like a magnet influence of a touchstone upon iron. So if there are a lot of iron filings, you bring magnet near to it, all the iron filings will be attached to that magnet. Similarly, the devotee body also gets surcharged with that magnetism when they are attracted to the greatest magnet, that is Krishna. The influence of transcendental devotional service is like the same. Therefore, change of the body means the stoppage of reaction of 3 qualitative modes of material nature upon the pure devotee. There are many instances of this, like Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and many other devotees were able to see the personality of Godhead face to face, apparently in the same body. This means that the quality of a devotee's body changes from material to transcendence. Otherwise, how it is possible to see something spiritual with the material vision? It's not possible. Even when Krishna showed this universal form to Arjuna, he first gave that Divya Chakshu, because he said, with this eyes you cannot behold my form. So therefore, the quality of a devotee's body itself changes from material to transcendental. That is the opinion of the authorized Goswamis via the authentic scriptures. Which verse is this? In Brahma Samhita it is said that bringing from Indra Gopa, germ to a great Indra, king of heaven, everybody is subjected to the law of karma and are bound to suffer and enjoy the fruitive results of their own work. Only a devotee is exempted from this because of the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Yes, Satyam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hi, Prabhupada.
My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees here. Mataji, I think few classes back, there was a discussion about like the animal body or those yonis, except human yonis, they don't have any karma. But here it says, is it saying like opposite? Is it a conflicting statement here, or
It's not conflicting at all.
can you please explain?
Yeah, of course, I will. I was coming to that point, but I thought you raised your hand to give me the verse from Brahma Samhita. Yes, Sodamini Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Vindra Gopamathawindram Aho Swakarma. Shall I say the full verse?
Bandhan Roop. Yeah, go ahead.
फलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Travindra Gopa Mathavendra Thosa Karma Bandhana Rupa Phala. We are always subjected to the karma. So karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhaja. All this baggage of karma, nirdahati, is destroyed by bhakti bhajan, by doing devotional service. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So yes, as Satyam Prabhu pointed out, that only in this Bhumandala, and in this Bhumandala, only in Jambu Dvipa, only in Bharatvarsha, all the human beings, they are subjected to law of karma. But all other species, like what you say is all the animals, all 8,400,000 species of life, they are not subjected to law of karma. But then why this verse says that from Indra Gopa up to the great Indra, everybody is subjected to the law of karma. So here Prabhupada says that when from that human form of life, we take this animal form of life, it is why? Because of karmic reactions. So that karmic reaction will make us fall down or will elevate us to heavenly planet. Once we have achieved that stage, after that, law of karma will not bind us. Like a tiger, if is eating another animal, he will not be subjected to law of karma, because being in a body of tiger, it is that another animal has become the food for the tiger or a lion. So he is no more subjected to the laws of karma. But why at the first place he got the body of a tiger is because of his karmic reactions, is because of the material desires the jiva has. Krishna bahir mukha bhoga vancha kare, nikat sthai maya jhapatiya dhare. As soon as the jiva does the bhogvancha, wants to enjoy separately from Krishna, that desire, whatever the desire the jiva has, Maya Devi jhapatiya dhare, immediately captures that jiva. and gives the suitable body so that the desire of the jiva can be fulfilled. And that is what is jiva's karma. So, coming to the lower species of animal life or plant life or lower species of life is because of one's karmic reaction. But after getting that yoni, after getting that body, then yes, there is no, that then there is only an evolution process. And if we go to heavenly planets, then punya shanya karma, punya shinya martyam loke. As soon as the punya becomes zero, we come back to this material world. So after that, it's just a process that is executed. But at the first place, why we are getting is because of the karmic reactions. So this is how we have to understand. Okay, Satyam Prabhu, is it clear?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Yes, Sodamini Mataji.
Mataji, then the jivas of the higher planetary systems, are they not subjected under the law of karma?
No. Even
Demigods, not they?
no, they are not subjected to the laws of karma. It's only the human beings who are subjected to the law of karma. Okay, Mataji?
Yeah, okay, okay. Thank you.
Law of karma suffices only to the human beings, no other species of life.
Mataji, can I clarify a little bit on this?
Yeah.
So once you're still human and you become a devotee and you're removing all your impurities, then what is the state of karma on these people?
So, like, what do you mean? Like
for example, we are Nirmatsara, we are non-envious, we are good. But still we are in the human body. Then what will be how the karma will be? That at this point we are not akarmis, but we are still doing in the worldly activities. Then what will be the act of karma on us?
So, Prabhupada, this also Krishna explained to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, that if we are in this body of a devotee and we are on this path of Bhakti Yoga and we have not perfected our life.
Yes.
In this life, in the sadhaka deha, we have not perfected, then what will happen is that we will again take birth as a human only, in a devotee family, in a great aristocratic family, where we don't have to struggle for bread and butter and we just focus in our devotional life. And those who perfect their life will definitely get the spiritual deha. So therefore, Prabhupada gives this assurance that study Srimad Bhagavatam, study Shastras, have faith, take initiation, accept a bona fide spiritual master, chant 16 rounds. Then even if you have not perfected your life, your sadhaka deha in this life, then also there is a guarantee that you will get another birth of a human and then you will perfect it. So that's the assurance.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Text 29. Kalpanta idam adya shayanembhasi udanvata shishyashar anu pranam vivishentar aham vibhu. Somebody can read the translation.
At the end of the millennium, when the personality of the Godhead, Lord Narayana, lay down within the water of the devastation, Brahma began to enter into him along with all creative elements, and I also entered through his breathing.
So this is how Narad Muni is explaining, where he says, Tadit Saudamani Yatha, that lightning of death happens and immediately I got the spiritual body. But in between, something happened for a fraction of a moment. And that is what is entering into the body of Narayana. He says, at the end of millennium, means after this kalpa anta. Kalpa means 1 day of Brahma. So at the end of 1 day of Brahma, when everything was devastated, so what happens is when Brahma's one day is over, which is 1000 Divya Yugas, then Brahma's night appears. And that Brahma's night is again 1000 Divya Yugas. And at that time, what happens is the entire thing goes in the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So here Lord Narayana is referring to not Lord Narayana who is Vaikuntha, not that Lord Narayana who is in Vaikuntha, but here Lord Narayana refers to Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So the another meaning of Narayana means Nara means water and Ayana means who takes shelter. So that Lord who takes shelter of a water means who lies down on that water. To that Lord, Brahma, he entered along with all the creative elements, means all the jivas as well as all the prakriti, material nature. Everything entered into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So Narad Muni is saying that I also at that time, along with Brahma, entered into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu through his breathing. Now, this annihilation is not the total annihilation that happens after 100 years of Brahma, where all the jivas, along with all the Brahmas of all the universes, goes in the body of Karnadakshai Vishnu. Okay, that is total annihilation. But this is partial annihilation that happens after every kalpa. Because after every kalpa, Brahma goes to sleep. And he goes to sleep in the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And then again, when the morning happens, the dawn happens, then again the Brahma, he comes out from the lotus navel, from the navel of on the lotus, he comes out from the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And he is again bewildered, though he has all the blueprints, everything, but his memory is not 100% lost. But then he start creating again. So that happens after every day, after every night, basically that happens. We have read the translation, right? Yeah. So purport. Narada is known as the son of Brahma, as Lord Krishna is known as the son of Vasudeva. So the personality of Godhead and his liberated devotees like Narada appeared in the material world by the same process. Because somebody can say, well, that Narad Muni got an eternal spiritualized body. So what was the need for him to come again in this material world and come through Brahma? So now Narad Muni, yes, he got his eternal body, definitely. But also, he has to come by some medium. And that's what Prabhupada is mentioning, that just like Krishna, when he appears, he needs some instrument, some medium through which he appears. Like when he appeared as Varahadev, he came through the nostrils of Brahma. When he came as Lord Ramachandra, he appeared from Kaushalya. When he appeared as Krishna, when he came as Krishna, he came from Mother Devaki. When he came as Lord Chaitanya, he came from Mother Shachi. Right? So this is how Narada also, when he got the spiritual body, that's true. But that spiritual body that he got was a very unique spiritual body. Sometimes some rishis or some devotees, when they get the spiritual body, they cannot enter into the material world anymore. But Narad Muni, when he became the dear associate of the Supreme Lord, he got this benediction that he became a spaceman, where he could travel all the places in all the material worlds, in all the material universes, as well as to Vaikuntha. He can go to the spiritual world, material world. And so for him to get this spiritual body, he needs a medium. And that was decided is Brahma. So, as it is said in Bhagavad Gita, the birth and the activities of the Lord are transcendental. Therefore, according to the authorized opinion, the birth of Narada as the son of Brahma is also a transcendental pastime, because he appeared from the deliberation of Brahma, Manasaputra, right? His appearance and disappearance are practically on the same level as that of the Lord. The Lord and his devotees are therefore simultaneously one and different as spiritual entities. They belong to the same category of transcendence. So Narad Muni, he just to appear, he needs a medium, and that medium he came as the son of Brahma. But he can travel anywhere he wants. Okay. He can go up till in all the spiritual world also, where even Brahma is not allowed. So that is the beauty of Narad Muni. And also one additional point is that Narada is not like a post like Brahma or Indra. Narad Muni is an individual. Okay. And it is specifically for this universe. Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji. And yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji, you go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat. I had two questions. One was that when the Supreme Lord gave assurance to Narad Muni that you will become my associate, did he say that at the end of that same lifetime or very soon or
He
like that,
He mentioned that after this life, there will be an annihilation. And after this annihilation, you will get the spiritual body. And not only that, he said in the previous verse, I think so, yeah, it's mentioned. Smat anugrahat, smriti smat anugrahat, that you will remember me. Yeah, smriti cha mad anugrahat. See, by my mercy. Intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time, even at the time of creation as well as the time of annihilation. Your remembrance will continue by my mercy. So this was the assurance given to Narada.
Okay. And the other question I had was that I was under the misunderstanding that only at the end of Kali Yuga, whichever Kalpa, after the 1,000 cycles are over, after the end of Kali Yuga only annihilation happens. But looks like this was like a Satya or some other Yuga where Narad Muni was the son of a maid servant in previous birth and all that. So annihilation can happen without a Kali Yuga
Annihilation
Sandhya.
even after a day of Brahma.
And that doesn't necessarily mean the Sandhya of Kali Yuga ending.
That necessarily doesn't mean that it should be at the end of Kali Yuga.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yes, Param Bhavani Mataji.
Hare Krishna ji, Mataji, Dalapat Pranam. Mataji, it seems like when Narada Muni like left his body of the son of maid servant, and the like partial devastation was like at the same time, right? And it was like kind of fortune he was fortunate to have this to be at the same time. It's not possible for like many living entities who leave this body and also made the partial devastation and go back to Narayana's
But
body. Is
that
that right?
doesn't mean, it doesn't matter. Even if there is no annihilation, if somebody is destined to get a spiritual body, they will get it.
Oh, even if there is no devastation, they will go in.
Because the karmic reaction gets zero. One immediately gets the spiritual body.
God, Mataji. Thank you so much. Mataji, another point you were mentioning about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that he was not afraid of death and he was waiting for the death, and
Bhaktivinoda,
there is
I didn't say, I just said Bhaktivinoda Thakur's bhajan. Kabe habe bol
oh
namar.
yes,
Like
Mataji.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, I was referring to that point.
Oh,
That,
Mataji,
that
uh,
day, yeah.
yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
No, I was just referring that how Narad Muni was waiting for his death to appear because he was waiting, Kalam, it's mentioned, right? He was waiting for that Kal to come. But that is just like I gave the example that how Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Kabe habe bolo se de namar, when that day will come, when I will chant Krishna's Shuddha Nam and I will go and serve my Krishna. Similarly, Narad Muni was waiting when that day will come when I'll become an associate of the Lord. That I was referring to.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, when you mentioned that, I remembered another bhajana Bhaktivinoda Thakur only. দেখিতে দেখিতে ভুলিব বা কবে নিজ স্থূল পরিচয় নয়নে হেরাব ব্রজপুর সবার নিত্য চিত আনন্দময়. And
Very,
he's planning, he was planning that Yavate Vibaha have. You will get married in Yavata, and
he will be entitled and he will be having children and family.
yes, Mataji, Vrishabhanupure জন্মালইব Yavate বিবাহ হবে ব্রজ গোপী ভাবা হইবে স্বভাব অন্য ভাবনা রহিবে.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Yes, Chinmay Mataji. Oh, sorry, Tulsi Gopi Mataji. Yes. Go ahead, Mataji.
Mataji, one more question I had was that so many souls in the history of the creation, or in Bhagavatam they have showed how with devotion they go back home and they get transcendental spiritual body. So do we have an explanation why specially the Lord granted Narad Muni this special spaceman ship, I guess, status or pastime or that kind of
It's
pa-
Krishna mercy. That's what his mercy is known as causeless. There is no hetu behind it.
Okay,
Yeah. So
thank you.
just he gave his seeing the sincerity, seeing the dedication, he awarded. Otherwise, Narad Muni was a Gandharva. Right? And then he became a maidservant, the son of a maidservant. But later, seeing his dedication, seeing his sincerity, the Supreme Lord awarded this.
So is it that the way King Chitraketu became freely traveling in the space, just like, was it just like he became liberated like Narad Muni and then got cursed? Like, is that similar scenario or different?
Yes, a similar scenario because at that time Chitraketu was also going to Vidyadhar planets when he met Lord Shiva. So he was traveling in his airplane. But all these devotees, like we see, they don't have that adhikar where they can come to the material world. When they are in the spiritual world, they are around that spiritual plane only. But our Narad Muni, he can come anywhere. He can come to the material world, he can go to the spiritual world. So none of them can become Narad Muni, but similar qualities one may possess, but not exactly become like Narad Muni. He is a different individual altogether.
Okay, so the other material universes will not be having Narad Muni like a post. They
No,
may have.
that's what I meant.
Okay.
Jiva Goswami
Okay.
specifically says that Narada is not a post like Indra or Brahma.
Okay, so he's only in our universe, not necessary every universe will have.
Universals.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Yes, Chinmay Rajpriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Such a beautiful class. Mataji, your clarity of thoughts, nobody else has, Mataji. It was such a beautiful class. Actually, my question was asked by Tulsi Gopi Mataji. That was my question too. So,
This is
thank
what is devotee association. Without
you.
word itself.
Yeah, because I'd never thought about it also that Narada Muni is a post or what, but yeah, so he's only to our universe. Thank you so much for
Jiva Goswami actually mentions this. Okay, so we'll continue. We still have few minutes. Text 30. सहस्रयुगा पर्यन्ते उत्थायेदं शिक्षतः मारीचि मिश्र ऋषया प्राणेभ्यो हम च जाजनिरे. Somebody can read the translation. Yes, Chinmay Mataji, go ahead.
after 4 billion 300. Am I correct, Mataji?
4,300,000,000 or 3 billion solar years.
Okay. After 4,300,000,000 solar years, when Brahma awoke to create again by the will of the Lord, all the rishis like Marichi, Angira, Atri, and so on were created from the transcendental body of the Lord, and I also appeared along with them. Thank you, Mataji.
So Prabhupada writes, the duration and the day of life of Brahma is this much solar years. And this is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. So we know that 4,32,000 years is the duration of one Kali Yuga. And twice is Dwapar Yuga, thrice is Treta Yuga, and 4 times is Krita Yuga, that is Satya Yuga. So together it becomes this many solar years. And for this period, Brahmaji rests in Yoga Nidra within the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So here Prabhupada clarifies where he says Lord Narayana. So that means the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who is the generator of Brahma. Thus, after the sleeping period of Brahma, when there is again creation by the will of the Lord through the agency of Brahma, all the great rishis again appear from different parts of the transcendental body, and so Narada also appeared. This means that Narada appears in the same transcendental body, just as a man awakes from sleep in the same body. It's not that Narada has to undergo all the stages of life, like birth, then boyhood, then childhood, and then young adulthood. He doesn't have to go all through that stages. He came as Narada. Shri Narada is eternally free to move in all parts of the transcendental and material creations of the Almighty. Okay, so he can go in any universe, at any place, he's free. He appears and disappears in his own transcendental body, which is without distinction of body and soul, which is unlike to conditioned beings, because we conditioned souls are forced to take birth. अंतर्बहिश्च लोकां स्त्रीन् परियेमे अस्कन्दिता व्रतः अनुग्रहन् महाविष्णुरविघाता गति क्वचित्. Translation.
Since then, by the grace of the Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world and in the three divisions of the material world. This is because I am fixed in unbroken devotional service of the Lord.
Yeah. So he says that he mentions that it is by the grace of Almighty Vishnu where he says, Antar Bahischa Lokam Strin, in all the three loka, upper planetary system, lower planetary system, middle planetary system, I travel. Askandita Vrataha, unbrokenly, I can translate. Anugraham Mahavishnu. It is only by the grace of Almighty. And why? Because Abhighata Gati Kuchit, because without restriction, in my unbroken devotional service of the Lord, I got this benediction. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, there are three divisions: Urdhva Loka, Madhya Loka, and Adholoka. That is upper planetary system, middle planetary system, and lower planetary system. And beyond the Urdhva planetary system is Brahma Loka, or the spiritual sky, which is illuminated, which is unlimited in expansion, contained unlimited self-illuminated Vaikuntha planets inhabited by God himself along with his associates who are eternally liberated living entities. Shri Narad Muni could enter all these planets in both the material and the spiritual spheres without restriction, as much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of his creation. In the material world, the living beings are influenced by the three modes of material nature, namely the goodness, passion, and ignorance. But Narad Muni is transcendental to all this. Therefore, he is liberated spaceman. The causeless mercy of Lord is unparalleled, and such mercy is perceived by the devotees only by the grace of the Lord. So here it answers your question, Tulsi Gopi Mataji. It is only by the grace of the Lord. There is no hetu behind the Lord giving benediction to his devotees. Okay, there is no hetu at all. Therefore, the devotees never fall down, but the materialist, that is, the fruitive workers and the speculative philosophers, do fall down, being forced by their respective modes of nature. Even the great rishis that have been mentioned above, they also cannot enter the transcendental world like Narada. This fact is disclosed in Narsimha Purana. Rishis like Marichi are authorities in fruitive work. Rishis like Sanaka Sanatana are authorities in philosophical speculations. But Sri Narad Muni is the prime authority for transcendental devotional service, where he wrote Narada Bhakti Sutra. And therefore, all the devotees of the Lord are unhesitatingly qualified to enter into the kingdom of God, that is Vaikuntha, by following all the verses of Narad Bhakti Sutra, because he has given that Narad Muni has given this Narad Bhakti Sutra to all of us. Okay, so now we'll continue with text 32.
Oh, Mataji, the four Kumaras, Sanaka, the Sanatana, weren't they also freely traveling in the Brahma sky, the Brahman spiritual sky? Is that where they went to Vaikuntha?
But are they allowed to enter into other universes also?
No, probably not.
That's the difference. Got it?
Yes, yes.
देवदत्तम् इमां वीणं स्वरा ब्रह्म विभूषितं मूर्छयित्वा हरिकथां गायमानश्चराम्यहम्. So now our Narad Muni is saying, Devadattam, this has been gifted to me by Deva, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What has been gifted to you, Narad Muni? Veena. I've been given that Veena, that instrument that I have been given to me by the Supreme Lord. Swara Brahma Vibhushitam, and it was ornamented by Swara Brahma. Swara Brahma means Swara refers to the seven notes, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni, Sa. And they manifest Brahman, that is the Lord, and therefore they are known as Swara Brahman. And my Veena was already ornamented, Vibhushitam, by Swara Brahma. Murchitva Hari Katham, and with Murchana means Murchitva means I used to play that Veena, and automatically that alap or that sound vibration, the transcendental sound vibration will come from that veena. And Hari Katha, while I am singing Hari Katha, means the name, fame, glories, pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Gayamanas charameham, and I used to sing. Somebody can read the translation.
And thus I travel constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a veena, which is charged with the transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna.
So Narada Muni is telling this. So the musical instrument, Prabhupada writes, called the veena, which was handed to Narada by Lord Krishna, is described in Linga Puran. So Prabhupada is giving the reference that from Linga Puran it is being mentioned that this musical instrument was awarded to Narad Muni. And this is also confirmed by Srila Jiva Goswami. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Shri Krishna and Narada because all of them are of the same transcendental category. So Lord is non-different from his holy name, from his dham, from his paraphernalia. So everything equates the same value. They are on the same transcendental category. Sound vibrated by the instrument cannot be material because it has been gifted. It is on the supreme absolute platform. And therefore, the glories and pastimes which are broadcasted by the instrument of Narada are also transcendental without a tinge of material inebriety. Narada Muni bajai veena Radhika Ramana name. नाम आमानी उदित हया भकत गीत सामे नारद मुनि बजाय वीणा राधिका नमन नामे. Bhaktivinoda Thakur very beautifully sings that this is how Narad Muni, as soon as his fingers goes on that veena, immediately those sound vibration of Swara Brahma comes in and he sings the glories and Radhika Ramana Nam. And this transcendental names flows from his lotus mouth. So the 7 singing meters, namely Sa, which refers to Sajja, R refers to Rishabha, Ga refers to Gandhara, Ma refers to Madhyam, Pa refers to Panchama, Dha refers to Dhaivat, and Ni refers to Nishad, are also transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. As soon as I'm reading this, I'm remembering in one of the pastime, in Vrindavan, actually, His Grace Aindra Prabhu, he started this 24-hour kirtan. Okay. So in this 24-hour kirtan, he would sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra on some Bollywood tunes. So devotees will ask, because people, when they are used to hear Bollywood music, so no matter what they hear, they will remember Bollywood song. That's the nature. So the devotees were telling Indra Prabhu that why you are singing on Bollywood music. No, because people, when they hear, general mass of people, when they hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they remember Bollywood songs. So why you sing Bollywood music? Means you take their tunes and you convert them into Hare Krishna Mahamantra music. So Indra Prabhu said, no, I am not the one who is doing this. It's actually they have stolen our music and they have made it into that Bollywood mundane songs. So I'm taking back from them and giving it from where it originates. So here it is. Because this Sare Gama Padha Nisa, the arrangement of these swaras, they are only transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. If somebody is using them from mundane songs, so who is stealing? Are they stealing or we are stealing? Naturally, they are stealing. So Indra Prabhu says, I'm taking back from them and giving it back to the source. So as a pure devotee, and then he said that if they are remembering Bollywood songs, it's not my fault. It's their consciousness, that what is there in their subconscious mind. So naturally that will be repeated. But for those who are into hearing only Kirtan, for them, no matter whatever song or whatever tune you play, they will only remember Krishna's holy name. So, as a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Narad Dev is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument. And thus he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and therefore infallible in his exalted position. See, Narad Muni is very, very exalted devotee. Very, very exalted devotee. By seeing all these movies, some serials, even though if they have been made on some scriptures, but still by seeing all that, we see that they have positioned down, they have actually degraded the position of Narad Muni. That how Narad Muni only brings conflicts among devotees and demons and so called. But actually, that's not the case. So don't rely on these serials. They have literally degraded the position of Narad Muni. He is, Prabhupada is saying, he has an infallible, and he's infallible and in his exalted position. Very, very. Imagine only one individual gifted this benediction by the Supreme Lord that he is a spaceman, he can travel anywhere by his own supreme sweet will. So if he is so, and he is dear associate of Krishna, he has been given this benediction by Krishna that you will become my associate. So imagine, can that person be ever degraded in his position? No, never. He's always exalted. So following, and on top of that, he wrote Narad Bhakti Sutra. Prabhupada writes that just by Narad Bhakti Sutra, the devotees are unhesitatingly qualified to enter into the kingdom of Vaikuntha. By studying and following the instructions of Narad Bhakti Sutra, we become, the unqualified people becomes qualified to enter into Vaikuntha planet. So definitely his position is very exalted. Following in the footsteps of Narad Muni, a self-realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meters, namely sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, in the service of the Lord. So this is important. Stop singing mundane songs. We should always use these swaras. These are swara brahma. Swaras only in constantly singing the glories of the Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So this is how we should also follow in the footsteps. After all, he is our sampradaya. In our sampradaya, after Brahma is Narad Muni. He is in the disciplic succession. So we should follow into his footsteps. So we'll stop here. From 33 onwards, then Narad Muni will conclude his instructions to Srila Vyasadeva, and that we will cover next Tuesday. Okay. Thank you all so much. Yes, Saudamani Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji, for that beautiful class. Mataji, I had two questions. In text 30, we read that
In text,
after
which text, Mataji?
30, Mataji.
30. Okay.
Yeah, we read that after that big number, I think
Oh,
1000 years, after one day of Brahma.
Hmm.
Yeah, then Narad Muni appeared. But before that, we read that Yatha Tadit Saudamini.
Yatha.
So,
Yeah. So it was a flash of second for Narad Muni. For
then
Jiva,
how,
it's just a flash of a second.
then this big number, Mataji, after one day of Brahma, Narad Muni appeared.
Yeah, so it is a big day, it's a big number, but it happens in, like we say, when Karana Dakshay Vishnu breathes. So it's just one inhale and exhale. But for us, it's millions and trillions of lifetimes, right?
Oh.
But see, when Narad Muni entered, he was in a sleeping state, right? In Yoga Nidra, he entered. Just like Brahma rests in Yoga Nidra, Similarly, this boy, he was not Narad Muni, this Jiva entered into the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And he went in his yoga nidra. So for him, only he remembers this, that death happens, and when he was awakened, he got a spiritual body. So for him, it's just a flash of a second. Got it, Sadamini Mataji?
Yes, ma'am. Now I got it.
Yeah, for him, it's just a flash of a second because he was in that yoga nidra state. He
So
doesn't
for
know what
us,
he was doing in the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu.
yeah. Now I got it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
The second one, Mataji, that law of karma we were discussing. Then you say that only it is applicable for the case of human beings and not demigods.
Yeah.
So Upabarhan, he was a Gandharva, no, Mataji. He
Yeah.
also got cursed, and then
Yeah,
we see too
cursing
many examples,
benediction, that happens.
which is
Indra
not law
was
of karma.
cursed. Yeah, it was not law of karma. See, Indra also got cursed. He got a body of a hog.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Indra also got cursed. So that cursing, benediction, all this happens, but they are not subjected to the law of karma. अपराध होता है माता जी. Guru अपराध हुआ, so Indra got the body of a hog. But he was not subjected to the law of karma. Got it, Mataji? I hope it is clear.
Mataji. Karma and cursing, they are not similar. The case.
They are not, because cursing and giving benedictions, that happens.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes, Padmini Mataji.
No, Mataji, I just wanted to say this class was by itself so illuminating and very, very useful. Mataji, you gave a different picture of Narada Muni. As you said, most of the serials and where they always picture him as some kind of a, sorry to use the word, some kind of clown or something, and they it makes people, they don't understand him. Until I came to read Bhagavatam, even I didn't understand. And today class, you clarified it so well, all the discussions of the Vaishnavas. So thank you very much for questions and answers. It was just so enchanting, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, we have to be very careful. That becomes the serious aparad when we degrade the position of all these exalted Vaishnavas. So we should be very, very careful. Okay, anything else? Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Mataji, I was in just response to Sodamini Mataji's question about Narad Muni coming out after one day of Brahma. My thought here is that when he left the body in a flash of that second, he was completely, he became associate of the Lord and he went in the spiritual world, and for he didn't sleep like ordinary jivas for that many years. He was in the spiritual world and the transcendental pastimes, and when creation started he came again that through that channel, but for him that long sleep did not happen. Like, that's what my understanding is, that us conditioned souls, when we merge, we are in sleep, in dormant state, but because he was spiritual, he immediately got the spiritual body and he was part of Krishna's pastimes in the spiritual world. And then he traveled when this material world created.
Is there any reference to your thought?
No, but I think like I kind of remember that back in, some time ago, someone explained that when
No,
someone gets liberated, they are out of this, they are with the association of the Lord in the spiritual world, and if they come in material world, it's just pastime of the Lord to do
yeah, that is
different
true.
things.
That is true. That when they come, if any spiritual being is coming in this material world, it is just for some pastime. That is true. But he has to take the position of Narada, na? At that time, when the death happens to a living entity, to a jiva. Right. So after that, if he has got that Siddha Deha, then what is that Siddha Deha? That Siddha Deha is not the Deha of Narada. And also we see the same text 29, not 29. See, it says, Brahmaji rests in Yoga Nidra within the body of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Thus, after the sleeping period of Brahma, when there is again creation by the will of the Lord through the agency of Brahma, all these rishis appears, and so Narada also appears.
Okay, so he probably had a Siddha Deh in some other way in the spiritual world, and then he came as Narad with the Veena in the at that
No,
time.
that didn't happen. He said that I also, along with Brahma, entered into the body of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. He's saying this.
But he doesn't go to spiritual world if he gets liberated and like that.
No, because the Supreme Lord said that you will remember me and you will become my associate in your next life. So that life has to be taken, na?
Acha, so his one, like he was sleeping is considered one whole life kind of thing. And then
I'll share you the screen. It's verse only saying, at the end of millennium, when the personality of God had gnawed Lara and laid down within the water of devastation, Brahma began to enter into him with all his creative elements, and I also entered through his breathing.
I mean, the way I interpreted was that once when he entered, he went back to spiritual world. I thought that's what he's
Garbhodakshayi Vishnu only. Because he has to take birth as a Siddha Deha, as Narada Muni. Only
okay.
then he will become a true associate. Previously, that Jiva was not a true associate of the Supreme Lord.
Okay, so he didn't become an associate that time. Later he became.
Later, as Narada, when he came from the deliberation of Brahma, then he came as Narada and became a true associate of the Supreme Lord.
Okay, understood, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Parambhavani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. Mataji, every jiva who get perfected and they before going to the spiritual world they take a birth in this material world and for Krishna's pastime and then they go back.
Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that the jiva, even though if they have become self-realized, they will not directly go to the spiritual world. They have to undergo that training period. And that training period is that in some other universes where Krishna is performing his pastime, they will appear there and they will participate in Krishna's pastimes, and once they are trained, then they go to the spiritual world. It's not the direct process.
And if they are not sufficiently trained then
Yeah, how come now they are only theoretically happened, right? That they achieve this, they perform Vaidhi Bhakti, they perform Raganuga Bhakti, but now they have to practically show that they are eligible to participate in Krishna's pastime.
gotcha.
Training
And
purpose,
it's like
internship, what you call, right? That is needed. So that
yeah,
internship happens in that universe. Only
like in lab.
Prabhupada told that he will take us to Golok, no Mataji. I always like the statement. That means it's only to the training ground, or it is to.
that statement is Prabhupada's magnanimity, Mataji, where Prabhupada so says that you hold on to my dhoti and you come. But when Prabhupada says that you hold on to my dhoti and I'll open the back door for you, that back door entry is for that universe where the training period happens. Okay,
Okay.
that you cannot skip. That you
Yes.
cannot skip. And secondly,
This is another message I learned it today, Mataji. Yeah.
and then holding on to Prabhupada's dhoti, we should not take it in a very lighter way. Holding on to Prabhupada's dhoti, what Prabhupada says is hold on to me is means hold on to my instructions.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Very
so
much. Yes.
that is very important. We don't have to take the literal meaning, but the figurative way also.
Our way of life should be in the path of Prabhupada. That's what I took it that way. So
Yes.
at least we can try. How much we succeed is different, but we should try to follow the instructions Prabhupada has given. That is the way. So at least we can go to the training ground. Then whether we can pass or not is different.
Yes. Prabhupada will open the backdoor entry for the training ground. And once we are trained, then yes, Prabhupada will introduce us to Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So be it.
That training is also blissful, no, Mataji.
Of course, it is. It is more than a bliss, I should say. Of course, you are participating with Krishna, and Krishna has altogether different Leela when he is in Bhauma Vrindavan. That is altogether different. It's much more.
What is Bhauma Vrindavan, Mataji?
Bhauma Vrindavan means this earthly planet when Krishna comes and perform his pastimes. In different universes, when he comes, he performs his pastimes. They are together different to what Krishna performs his pastimes when he is in the spiritual world. Because in the spiritual world, he is Nav Yauvanam Cha. He is always 16-year-old boy. But here Krishna is a little baby and there are so many asuras. But in spiritual world, all the asuras are also tamed. Kaliya is there, Aghasur is there, Bakasur is there, but they are tamed animals where Krishna can just play around with them. But here the real happenings happen when the boys are entering into the mouth of Aghasur and they are calling out to Krishna, please save us. So it's altogether a different experience. Right?
Mataji, Mataji, those Aghasur, Bakasur, they also comes along with Krishna to participate in the pastimes in Bhoma Vrindavan.
Yes, they come and participate.
And Krishna tells them beforehand that you become if you trouble me. And
Yeah, it's Krishna's associates only, right? Some Krishna's associate, they mixed with some jivas, they come and they participate in Krishna's. Who can see? It's been explained that imagine if president of some United States, imagine if comes to India, then will he come all by himself? No, he will come with his entire entourage. And how much planning is being made? When one president goes to another country, another country, when they receive the president of that another country, they will also make so many plannings, right? The entire hotel is booked, the roads are cleared, so much security is there, and years of planning is required. So when Krishna was appearing, even the grass, which grass will grow, which tree will grow, that also was planned. So everything was planned when Krishna has to appear. All the planets have to be aligned in the right auspicious position. So all that planning happened for Krishna to appear. So if a material person is given of so much of importance, then don't you think that Krishna will also be needing all this planning? Of course.
True, Mataji. That's why Nala, Kuber and Manigriva, as Arjuna trees, they were born near Krishna's house, right near Nanda Bhavan.
Same courtyard.
So peaceful. Mataji, another question is Bhama Vrindavan also includes the Navati, like uh,
Yeah, they are not
devotees.
different. Vrindavan, Navadvip, non-different.
Thank you so much,
Krishna
Mataji.
comes as Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Sachinandan, and in Bhauma Vrindavan he comes as Yashodananda. But the potency is the same.
Mahaprabhu is more merciful.
More merciful. Okay. Yes. Yes, of course. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more merciful, more magnanimous. Krishna is still transactional, but Mahaprabhu is not.
And Nityananda is more merciful
And
than
our Srila Prabhupada is most merciful.
most merciful. And our Guru Maharaj is more merciful.
They are representatives of Srila Prabhupada. Well,
Srila Prabhupada.
okay, dear.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your association. So we'll stop here. We'll continue from text 30, which
33, Mataji.
33 we'll start. Yeah. And we'll try to finish on next Tuesday.
It is very nectarian, Mataji. We don't know whether we will allow you to finish because this subject has really, it does a lot of changes. Very interesting, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Let's be
Hare
out. So, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vansha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu vaivata. Bhavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo namo namah.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai
जय
Srila
जगत
Jai.
Raj Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai all the assembled
Jai.
Vaishnavas ki jai.
Mataji ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji ki jai.
All
जय
Dhanwad.